I can't wait to get on the road again. Talking about nerdy shit with all of my friends.
Welcome, everyone, to That Kind of Nerds podcast, a weekly show where we break down what's going on in the nerdy world. I am CJ Mellon, joined, of course, by Brian Thornton and Josh Burns.
Salutations!
Greetings and salutations, fellow nerds.
Before we dive too far into this week, I do want to let everyone know that this episode is brought to you by the fantastic, the creative, the awesome people over at Loot Crate. Loot Crate is a monthly subscription box for nerds and comic book lovers and pop culture aficionados all alike. Every month, subscribers receive a mystery box full of collectibles, figurines, apparel, and memorabilia. Each box contains at least $45 worth of value, but many of the items are exclusive to the Loot Crate community. You have until the 19th of every month to subscribe to the crate, and then it's gone forever. This month, the theme is Anti-Hero, which will have stuff from the Suicide Squad in it as well. So, get yourself some savings. Go to thatkindofnerd.com/loot. That's LOOT. Click the ad there, and you will actually get money off your first box. So embrace it. Go get the nerdiness. Get gifts delivered to you every single month. Go to thatkindofnerd.com/loot. LOOT today. So I want to take a brief minute before we have any serious discussions to just let everybody know that we're going to follow the same standards and practices we've done since the beginning of the show and give everyone a good 2 weeks, today included within that, to see the Suicide Squad. So we're going to have a brief discussion about it, spoiler free, so you don't have to worry about it. But in the next episode, we can actually go ahead and talk about it and get into some details about it. But I want to thank the fine people at Twitter and all of you, the fine fans, for voting in our poll on our Twitter profile and allowing me to see the movie, even though I had hard pass. And I would like the two of you to reserve your judgments for that when you can just give me crap about it for the whole spoiler cast, because I think that's a better place for you to air all grievances.
Grievances that you should have never seen this movie?
Yep, and a big thanks to Laura for signing off on it.
My weak-willed wife. That is alliteration. I'm not sure if you're...
That is indeed alliteration.
Familiar with alliteration.
And Paul, I saw your tweet. It was not rigged, but I appreciate your anger and frustration. And we're actually going to have a message from Paul, the annual Drunk Paul message, just with the shows as they were and starting the new podcast, Hey Did You See, which you should go check out on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher. That's Hey Did You See. We just didn't get to play it. So, Paul, we didn't forget you. We still love you. Your voicemail will be at the end of the show. So no problems. So just head count real quick. I know I saw it. Brian, you saw Suicide Squad?
Indeed, I did.
And Joshua, I believe you have not, correct?
No, I have not yet.
So we'll just go with general impressions again, very spoiler cast free. I will say this. I think this is going to sound so weird coming out of my mouth. I think it's important for everyone to make up their own mind for the movie and to not listen to every negative thing that you're going to hear.
Hey, Josh, I think CJ's saying something to the effect that, like, don't judge a movie before it's out.
No, it's
don't hard pass on a movie until
make your
it's out.
Actually, that's I know you're saying that because I made my face, but that's not why I made my face. I made my face because what you said is first impressions, brief overview, spoiler free, and you didn't give impressions and overview, how you felt about it, or anything else. You just said everyone should vote their conscience. And I think we've had quite enough of that. So if you would just dispense with all the diplomacy and the bullshit, just say what you thought of the movie. I thought the movie was blank. Say that word. Say the word. Nope. Say the word. Just don't say anything else. Nope. Stop saying anything.
You just want the blank?
Just the blank.
Okay.
Okay, you agree to say the word?
No, the movie was okay.
Brian,
I thought the movie was rather good.
I don't understand how from the most of the really hardcore haters, what I'm hearing is a complete reversal. And even the negativity, the thing that I see more often than not is everyone should ignore the negativity. This movie was effing awesome.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I know it's getting a lot of bad reviews, and honestly...
Like, is everybody saying it's okay because they're afraid to admit they were wrong?
I don't know, but to be honest with you, like, I can see some of the issues with the movie and some of the things that the professionals might be saying about it. Honestly, like in that movie, in that theater, I was just having so much damn fun. I did not care. This movie was fun. It was enjoyable. Stuff blew up, and you had some really great moments that were, harkening back to, the foundation of the characters and some really great humor in it. And I just highly enjoyed it. It's a popcorn flick. It's everything it should have been.
I can't wait to see it. I'm gonna try to see it at some point this week. And the thing is, I'm not and have never been nor will ever consider myself a professional critic, because I don't think professional critics ever really experience anything. They're always viewing it to tear it apart. And I cannot wait to experience the movie for what it is before I even start trying to figure out what people were thinking or what's behind it. I want to watch it. I want to see what it's all about. That's the same way I went into Batman versus Superman. And yes, it was the Ultimate Edition, but I loved it. So I'm expecting the same thing.
Yeah. There were things that I did like about the movie and things that I didn't, but I did not hate it as I thought I would. So that is a win in the DC book for me.
Better or worse than Ant-Man?
You know what? I'm not kidding. As I left the theater and I'm talking to my wife and everyone with it, I say this was the Ant-Man of the DC movie so far. And I was like, I don't know how Josh is going to feel about that.
Wow. That's okay. So you feel same as Ant-Man.
Hang on. You can't say that. You can't even make the comparison, because when you say,
did.
No. Let me finish my thought.
Brian's about to say you can be and are wrong.
Right, which is fine.
When you say this is the Ant-Man of the DC universe, freaking Marvel had 10 movies out before Ant-Man came out. DC has had one. Shut your mouth.
What?
Shut your mouth. They've had one.
They had Man of Steel.
Okay,
right?
2.
Yeah.
That's not a wide enough pool.
Right, but if you had to rank it in orders of things,
it's maybe third, which is still bronze. You still get a medal for third, CJ.
I don't think I was asking you to stack it up in terms of greatness. I was saying,
if you had to compare this to the way I felt walking out of a movie.
Really? You felt DC's so far flagship ensemble movie is as shitty as Ant-Man was?
I'm pausing to strongly consider the words that are going to come out of my mouth, considering I wasn't even supposed to see this movie.
Yes, CJ.
Josh, I will let you make that
this,
judgment. I will not put anything out there into the ethos for you.
The cop-out.
Yes, absolutely, it's a cop-out. The whole interaction with me and this movie is a cop-out.
I hope that both Papa and Mama Thornton are screaming at whatever there is they're listening to.
I am very carefully trying to express my opinion.
Josh, I want you to listen to me. Listen to me now.
Do
not shut up, CJ. Do not let CJ poison you against this movie like he did Batman v Superman. Shut up, CJ.
I won't.
Hold on. I am honestly trying to not do that. Laura also sentenced me to. If
Laura
I do that,
actually threatened CJ's life.
My life is on the line here
on social media for all to see.
The reason I did the diplomacy is because I feel like a nanochip was injected into my neck, and if I speak about this incorrectly, I will die.
I'm just waiting for your head to explode.
You just keep hoping for it, buddy. It's not happening. So we're going to talk about the movie in length next week. Josh, are you going to be able to see it by then?
I will try my very best. I don't know. I hope so.
I really want you to.
I know. I'm going to try to see it one night this week because I'm not sure there's any day this week I can take a long lunch. We're gonna find out.
If you need a movie, buddy, you let me know, okay? I have no problem seeing this movie again. I actually said to my roommate, I was like, "You want to see it?" Like the day after, I was like, "I'll go see it again. I'm fine. Let's do it." We didn't see it anyway. So.
Well, that's your roommate's fault. It's not your fault. I know that's not you. I'm sure the cats were stopping.
I'm trying to find. Here it is. So help me God, if you ruin this for Josh Burns like BVS, I will make it my life's mission to police every hard pass you give for the rest of your life. You've been warned.
And I am telling you, Laura,
are my wife's words.
Laura's in my head, and that's why I am being very cautious about speaking about this movie until we talk about the spoiler cast.
If Laura could do that with every movie, Really appreciate
I don't think you guys realize you're going to hear a very different way of me speaking just because I think Laura's going to classify everything as this
I don't even care. Like, Laura, just threaten him every movie that comes out. If you speak against Trolls, the movie, the way you did BVS, I will ruin your life.
I just think any conversation I had over BVS it should just be ignored forever. So let's talk about some movies that are not the Suicide Squad. Brian has masterfully put together again the August blockbuster.
I love how you find a different adjective every time that does not describe at all how I put this list together.
So let's take it away. So we obviously know that August 5th has had a couple movies in there. The first one being Suicide Squad. And then the other one being 9 Lives with... I can't even talk
with
about
Kevin
this movie.
Spacey and Jennifer Garner.
But Kevin Spacey as
He's a talking cat. He's a talking cat.
It is the
He's a
shaggy
talking
dog
cat.
with a cat.
Yes, it is the shaggy dog with a cat.
It's
And I have
Click.
no desire to see
It's
this.
really more like Click.
With a cat.
Complete with
It's
Christopher
Click.
Walken.
It's Click and Shaggy Dog fused together.
And Christopher Walken is
but
also
take
in it.
all the good stuff out of it and that's what you're left with.
I will strongly I would strongly say this movie is probably cat poo. Just saying.
This is something you would put in the litter box.
Moving on, unless anybody has some dire need to talk about 9 Lives.
No.
Okay. So this Friday, I think it would be being August 12th, you have Pete's Dragon coming out, which is once again Disney taking an old classic kind of animated film and making it updated with CGI and everything like that.
Like taking an animated thing and turning it live action.
It's not the original Pete's Dragon wasn't animated. It was live action with an animated dragon, and this is live action with a computer animated dragon. So they're just updating it.
Yeah, okay.
Laura loved it as a kid. Apparently, I'd never heard of it.
I've only
Me neither.
I've only seen it maybe once.
But Robert Redford's in it, and that's cool.
Robert Redford and Bryce Dallas Howard are in it. And I mean, I've seen the trailers. It looks interesting. And it's nothing I would rush out to the theater to see. This is something I wait for DVD or Netflix unless somebody drags me to it. But also that weekend is the rated R comedy, animated comedy, Sausage Party, starring Seth Rogen and I believe Michael
all the
Cera.
Pineapple Express.
CJ has totally disliked this since we very first watched the trailer.
This is a great short and should have been a short.
Yeah, like a
And that would've been
15-minute
great.
YouTube short.
15-minute YouTube short, put it on Funny or Die, and it would be viral, and everyone would love it. And then the last for the movie,
But then it wouldn't have Seth Rogen in it.
And that's okay. I think that's okay. I don't think Seth Rogen is the glue that holds this movie together. He's
it is
funny,
not the
yes,
ketchup
but like
on the hot dog.
So yeah, I think we can all live without Sausage Party. I don't think it's going
As a movie.
do anything.
I mean,
I can live without a sausage party all the time.
I don't.
yes.
Yeah, I don't particularly enjoy sausage parties.
we can just say in all life, no Sausage Party.
Of the August 19th movies, for me, there's really only War Dogs, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, Ben-Hur comes out that weekend too. Don't shake your head. It's a classic movie being redone.
And you know what?
And
Stop
Morgan
doing
Freeman, sir. Morgan Freeman's in it.
But he's not going
and
to
he's got
save
some
that
sweet
movie.
dreadlocks, man.
Yeah, he's not saving that movie, and neither is Face from Boardwalk Empire. Leave that movie alone. Ben-Hur is one of the greatest stories ever told. Stop telling it again. We got it. They got it the first time. I don't need another Ten Commandments movie either. That movie's perfect the way it is. Leave it alone.
Did they do another Ten Commandments movie?
I'm sure someone's working on it somewhere.
Was
Brian.
Exodus by Ridley Scott technically like another Ten Commandments movie? I don't know.
I
I didn't see
but
it.
Stop messing. No, I'm not seeing Ben-Hur.
And Kubo and the Two Strings, which is an interesting animated movie that is coming out that day.
I think I may take my niece to see that movie.
It looks
that's
interesting,
like a
but I don't.
Stimulus Tuesday movie.
Yeah, I'm not rushing out. I'm not rushing out to the theater. I'm gonna be honest with you. August was kind of a crap fest after Suicide Squad.
Well, no, I disagree because I think War Dogs looks great. I think that looks like a fantastic
Is
popcorn.
Crap Fest the actual, is that the descriptor for the phenomenon, or is it?
Yeah, you know how there's Crab Fest and Lobster Fest? It's just crap
I said
fest.
crap fest.
Crap Fest. He didn't, it wasn't Crab Fest.
Right. I'm sure that exists somewhere. Though.
Which is also, you could red tube that. You're not going to be happy, but you could.
Wait, but hold on. Brian, you made a face when I said War Dogs looks like a good movie. You don't...
I mean, no, I think it looks good. It's nothing. Here's the thing. I'm so used to summer movies being these huge blockbuster, gotta go see it in the theater. War Dogs is just nothing that I need to see in the theater. I'll catch it on DVD.
What about you, Josh?
War Dogs?
Yeah. I mean, we both like Miles Teller. I mean, I think we all love Miles Teller, right?
I really do. If I'm able to break free midday, I'll go see it. It's not going to be a weekend movie.
But I mean, Brian, besides seeing Suicide Squad, which you've already seen, what else do you see? You
I'll
don't
probably
go
see Suicide Squad again.
But I mean, so let's say how many times do you go to the movies a month? Maybe that's my problem.
It depends on how many movies I want to see in that month and how many friends want to go with me.
Can't give me an average. Okay. I mean,
on average, may see anywhere between 4 to 7 movies a month in the theater.
Okay, so I can give you Suicide Squad 3 times, which means you need to go see one more movie. You're not going to go see War Dogs? I don't think you're going to see Suicide Squad 4 times.
I would see Suicide Squad 4 times in the theater. Are you kidding me?
I mean, I didn't even see The Amazing Spider-Man twice. Yeah.
Don't get me. I've seen every Spider-Man movie in the theater 6 times.
Okay. All right.
Not joking.
All right. Well, then wrapping up the month, August 26th, Mechanic Resurrection.
This looks all right. That Jason Statham and Jessica Alba is the sequel to the first Mechanic, which I didn't see, which is odd. I usually see Jason Statham.
Does he die in that movie, considering this is called Resurrection? I didn't see it.
I don't know. I just said I didn't see it.
Josh, did you see The Mechanic?
Oh, yeah. It was great.
Did he die at the end of The Mechanic?
Maybe he retired.
You presume that he died.
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay, because that's his. He's a professional hitman, and he lives a private life. He disappears on purpose. It's not. He's the transporter kind of, right, but more shooty than drivey.
Right. But just kind of, when it started, it was like, oh, it's the transporter.
But still the fighty, sexy. That doesn't change.
A lot of stabby.
You can always count on that.
That's part of the Jason Statham formula.
Well,
right?
when you look like that, you have to.
For sure, it's going to be fighty, sexy, and whether it's drivey or shooty is up for grabs. In some movies, it's stabby.
Expendables, he was stabby.
Expendables, he was stabby. Christmas was stabby.
There you go.
What was he on Spy?
Oh, man.
Laffy?
He was talky.
Oh, wow. Big change.
Yeah. But also sexy.
Gotcha. So, I mean, listen, the only 2 movies on my list for this month are Suicide Squad and War Dogs, and Kubo if I take my niece, but that's about it. Brian's just Suicide Squad across the board?
It's Suicide Squad and then multiple viewings of Suicide Squad. Maybe I'll go back to last month. Maybe I'll see something that's still in the theaters from last month.
Oh, you know what? Did we talk about Bourne?
We have not, but I did see it.
I think we're at the point where we can talk about Bourne, right?
Do you want to talk about it?
Let's talk about
it. I haven't seen it.
Josh hasn't seen Bourne, so we can't talk about Bourne.
We don't talk about Bourne. Okay.
Josh, if it makes you feel better, I just saw it last night.
No, it doesn't, because I'm down, talking to Laura this morning, and I'm going, man, I gotta catch up on my movies. Everybody's going to see Suicide Squad. Gives me a chance to go see Bourne or go see Star Trek, and then it was just, if I went to a movie, I couldn't hang out with my family, and I went, I'm just gonna stay home.
Right. No, that's a good compromise.
I will say this. I went to Bourne last night, and there were only 4 other people in the theater.
That's kind of the thing, is everybody was at Suicide Squad, and I thought, what a perfect time on a weekend, on a Saturday, right? I could go, and my initial thought was, I'm going to go see Bourne and Star Trek, and then try to slip into Suicide Squad when they have tickets available, because sometimes there are. But it was either, like, I can't spend a whole day at the movies and not hang out with my kids. On a weekend, where I'm not traveling for a bunch of days in a row. It's a nice thing to string it together.
So the other thing that we talked about this a few weeks ago, and we want to again remind everybody, we are currently trying out the Fantasy Movie League app, and we're doing our own That Kind of Nerd League right now with just the 3 of us, where every week you run your own movie theater. And you try to get top dollar. You basically just try to maximize the most out of the revenue for it. So right now, as at the time of this recording on the Saturday the 6th, the current standing is Josh in 3rd place with $974 million. Superior Blockbuster knowledge, which is Brian, at $1 $10 million.
$1 billion.
And then me at $1,113,000,000.
I just feel like you want to talk about this because you're winning.
No, because the thing is this: at the end of week 14 starts the next season, and the next season we're going to open up the That Kind of Nerd League to you, the fans, to come join us and play with us week to week to see who can run the best movie.
Play the fantasy game with us.
Play the fantasy game. My
Yes.
apologies. You're right.
Yes.
Correct. That's correct.
You have to.
You have to read the
clarify.
rules. So that's true. So to prep yourself, why don't you go ahead and download the app, get an understanding of how the game is played, so that way you can join us for the next season. We'll put links in our show notes, so that way you can go ahead and check it out. It's available for Android and for iOS. You can also go on their website and get their tools. So check it out, kind of get an understanding of the game, and join us for the next season, so that way we can kind of play it all together and see who's the best among everybody.
Play the game together.
Brian, I thought you would get a real kick out of this too, and I think you had some memories about this, and Josh, I know you had some memories about this. The first 13 years of Nintendo Power are now available online for free.
Yeah, it's very cool.
yeah.
Very cool.
You want to go down nostalgia lane, you've got it. I love this because my brothers got Nintendo Power, and they read it, and they were always up to date. And this is something that kind of precursored my whole nerdy experience and reading about video games. And it's just cool to see just an archive of this. And kind of jump back in time and just hear when people talk about how the NES was such a game changer and what the graphics looked like and how the gameplay was so innovative. And it just is really cool. Josh, I think you brought this to our attention. I mean, how do you feel about the fact that are you going to go back and start reading things?
I mean, I'd probably go to the site and flip through for nostalgia's sake. I don't know that I'm going to be reading it for advice on gaming, but yeah, I think that it's a cool thing to relive a bit, especially when it comes to some of us still play like the little emulator games, the flash games on like I'll play Zelda for a week at a time just to have some fun with it, right? So that's the kind of thing where, yeah, I would like Nintendo Power be a good resource for the mat per se.
Brian, what about you? What do you feel about Nintendo Power, or do you have a history with Nintendo Power?
No, I don't have a history with Nintendo Power at all.
He said sarcastically.
I never subscribed to it, but it was one of those things that, like, if I could pick it up every once in a while, I did. I think it's really cool that it's available. And again, for nostalgia's sake, if you want to go back, flip through, I still have my old NES. So if I decide to start playing like Zelda, I can do that kind of stuff. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm looking at about 6 months worth of comic book reading that I have to catch up on. So I'm going to do that first.
All right, so the other bit of news that was floating around the internet for a while, but we wanted to bring to everyone's kind of attention and radar. If you're a big fan of The Big Bang Theory, they have officially cast Penny's mom, Katey Sagal, who
does Penny's mom have it going on?
That's Stacy's mom. Stacy's mom.
Stacy's mom
has got
Stacy's
it
mom.
going on.
But it's close enough, Brian. We'll give it to you.
I'm pretty sure Penny's mom's got something going on.
Probably,
Something.
yeah.
Well, you may know her from Sons of Anarchy, or you may know her from Leela from Futurama.
See, I do know that.
Or you may know her from 8 Simple Rules for Dating My Teenage Dollar, where she was the mom.
But
how about Married with Children? How about like where she became famous?
That's all well and good, but she was.
That's all well and good. Married with Children is.
Listen. Let me say my funny colloquialism thing.
Go ahead.
She was Kaylee Cuoco's mom on 8 Simple Rules.
Yes, she was.
John Ritter, right?
So she is in fact Penny's mom. I think it's funny.
Huh.
Maybe
you don't seem enthused
maybe
at all,
it's all
Joshua.
one connected universe, actually, right?
No.
I'm just kidding. We already met Penny's
like
dad.
Sons of Anarchy and The Shield.
Yes.
Really?
No. So I'm not even getting into it.
No, please. I want to hear this. No.
So
You can't.
I watched the first 4 seasons of The Shield.
There's a lot of character crossover, right? So you have not so much character, but actor crossover. And then the Bizlats and the One-Niners are shared between both shows, even though The Shield was based on the LAPD's Rampart Crash Division, right? And Sons of Anarchy is a biker gang in the Bay Area, not in LA. So there's quite a bit of separation geographically that make it a little weird they would share the Bizlats, because the Bizlats comes from like a small area of the city. Anyway, they share that. And so everybody's like, oh, well, they must share the same universe. Must be the same universe. Except Juice, one of the characters, he's in a holding cell at one point watching a TV, and it's an episode of The Shield that he's watching.
Nice.
So Michael Chiklis appeared twice in Sons of Anarchy. Once on TV that Juice was watching, and again towards the end of the series.
It's like Matthew Perry showing up in Scrubs, but then they also mention Friends.
Right. Kind of the same thing. It's not. They're saying it's not a shared universe.
Right,
is kind of my point. I was making a joke that just took 5 minutes to explain.
No, I'm
I don't often do that.
I'm actually
but
fascinated about that stuff.
That's actually, what's funny is, you make a reference, you're in front of a group of people, and I don't know how often you guys are, but I'm assuming it's sometimes. But you're in front of a group of people, and you make a reference, you drop a reference, and you hope just one of the 30 gets it. You don't want the whole group to laugh all the time. You want to see who the people who are plugged in. And that's usually the guy I give a business card to afterwards and say, hey, you should check out this podcast. You'll like it because you got the reference and nobody else did. And that's the kind of thing where generally I'll go a bit more topical and I won't have to explain it for 5 minutes, but there it goes.
I'm sorry I had to put you through that.
Yes, you did.
I haven't seen Sons of Anarchy. I'm sorry.
So, Josh, I have a question for you, and I need to know basically where I invest some more time in to my Netflix addiction since I don't have cable right now. Mm-hmm. During the trailers/commercials for Suicide Squad, there was a second season of Narcos that had a trailer show up.
Sure did.
And I just need to know, is this something I invest my time in? And then how do I go about watching it?
You watch it when you're in front of a laptop and you're staring at the laptop. Like I'm not even sure I could watch it on TV because I have a temptation to put my phone between me and the TV. And when I'm sitting at a desk, like this is the perfect hotel show for me because I'll sit at the desk after I'm done working and I'll flip on a couple episodes of Narcos and I won't move. And the computer's in front of me and I'm sitting there, so I'm just staring at it. And that's the way I watched Narcos season 1. It's probably what I'll do for season 2. But yeah, I'm definitely excited to see it. I'm not sure where they're going to go with it, but I'm excited to see it.
So that's the question. Do I involve in getting into season 1 and getting that all through, or do I wait?
Oh, you never watched Narcos?
I didn't. I watched like one episode, but I did the same thing you just described.
Put your phone in between you and the TV.
Distracted, and then I looked up and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Oh, this is all in Espanol.
Yes, it's all in Spanish. You are.
I didn't even press 2, and there it is.
You are reading Narcos. It's basically like an audiobook that's acted out in front of you.
I think you should invest a little bit of time and see if you can watch Narcos. I mean, you really have to try though. Like plug your phone into charge on the other side of the room in airplane mode.
Yeah, just get it away from me. And
then watch an episode, really focus. I mean, I think my recommendation, CJ, might be to watch it on your iPad because you pretty much I want you to, sit on the sofa, hold your iPad with both hands, watch the episode.
Gotcha. Okay. I saw the trailer and I was like, this actually looks like I should go back and give this show a second watch. So you think it's worth going through it and doing it all again? All right. I'll have to add that to my list. By the way, if you are looking for shows to add to your show hole and just to fill you up and make you feel good about things, I highly recommend you go ahead and you check out BBC's Sherlock, which is available on Netflix, because we're doing our second show, Hey Did You See, about that. So if you're not already subscribed or checking that out, make sure to go to Hey Did You See Podcast. Don't forget the podcast.com and check that out. So shameless plug over.
That was the second shameless plug.
The one thing that we did find was that Sling TV will have the NFL Network channel and Red Zone available for cord cutters this fall. I think CJ put it up for discussion. It's a decent topic because there's a ton of cord cutters who want to be able to watch football, but in the opinion of a fan of the sport, this is not exactly what I'm looking for. So the NFL Network has, I want to say, I don't know for sure. I think it's 12 Thursday night games. So I get to watch one game for 12 weeks, and Red Zone is just an all-day, 1 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. channel that just shows you every touchdown. Every touchdown played, they flash from game to game to game to game. It's just constant highlights. it's sort of a fantasy football player or fantasy football owner's, dream. But I like watching the game. So I don't watch just the highlights and the touchdowns.
Does the NFL Network part happen? Does that help at all? Does that get you some of the games that you need?
No, it just gets me Thursday night games. It only gets me, I think, 12 of the 17 weeks. And that number could be wrong, but I think I'm pretty close. And that's not nearly enough.
Now, you still get some of the options for some of the major networks, so it's helping you pad it, plus ESPN and stuff like that too. But it's not the answer. Right.
DirecTV Sunday Ticket is what I want. And right now, it's only available on DirecTV and I believe PlayStation Network. But I need it. I need NFL Sunday Ticket available as a subscription on Apple TV. And then I can pretty much cut the cord completely.
Yeah, and that's where the PlayStation's View is coming into play because they have all the local channels. So they have the major networks plus things like ESPN as well. So that's kind of...
Do they have all the major networks or will they have local channels by geography that isn't blacked out because it's a streaming service?
Yes, to the second part for it. So it's your local ABC, NBC, and it's not blacked out.
Really?
Yes. We discussed this the last time too.
I don't care. I know I'm not a fan of the local thing. My question is just really more of if I can't get NFL Sunday Ticket, I don't want to be stuck watching the Eagles. I just don't ever want to watch the Eagles ever. Not ever.
And listen, this is going to be, I know a lot of people are putting off cord cutting. I will be your guinea pig because my wife is a football fan. Obviously, I am not. I don't know anything about this stuff. So I'll be the guinea pig to let you know which cord cutting solution has answered the call for football and see what works. So we'll find it out together as a group and I'll report back and see what happens with it.
I will not be a part of that group.
No, you will not.
I am not a part of that testing pool.
I still feel like you could watch. Like you could watch and probably gain something from it, at least conversationally.
Depends on who I watch it with.
I would drive to your palatial estate weekly and watch football. I tell you what, as soon as I get there, the cat to male ratio drops through the floor. So it's just
you won't even need a lint roller because the ratio is so low.
Even lower than it was before. But I would sit with you and watch the football. You don't, and I've learned this from trying, you don't do that at the bar.
No, I do not.
You don't watch the game ever. Like you're there and you're amongst people watching games, but you're not watching the game.
That's also the most social you'll see Brian.
That's not true. I can be very sociable sometimes when asked to be.
Yeah, he was just at dinner the other night and there was everybody talking to him about what he was eating and he was super sociable about it.
Yeah, it was very awkward. It's extremely weird. You people made strangers talk to me. I don't like it.
We are social people, Brian. When there's a bunch of people... Can I tell this story? Can I not tell the story?
I'm okay with you telling the story. What about you?
All right,
Tell the story. It's fine.
That kind of nerd goes to dinner with Mama and Papa Thornton, and we go to this spot in Allentown. It's a pretty popular spot. It's a Wednesday. You wouldn't expect a restaurant to be packed on a Wednesday, but this is a pretty popular spot. Super packed on a Wednesday, right? I tell Papa Thornton and CJ... you got to get this entree. Get the chicken and waffles. Trust me, right? And the same spectacle happens every time I'm in this restaurant. By the way, it's Grain in Allentown on Hamilton Street, and it's amazing. They bring the chicken and waffles out, and everyone that they walk behind, they smell it, they turn, they look, they set the entrees down, and now before CJ or Papa Thornton can cut into their chicken and waffles, you have every table to our left, which we're as far as we could go on the right, looking over. And before CJ gets a chance to take a bite, these two ladies sitting next to him go, I'm sorry, what? I have to interrupt. What is that? And he starts explaining. People are looking. Brian he may have at some point buried his face into his chicken and dumplings is what may have happened, or biscuits and gravy.
It was biscuits and gravy.
Whatever you were eating.
They were delicious, by the way.
I think he put his face in them. But so everybody's looking, and I turn because Brian's super uncomfortable. I go, everybody, I'll tell you what, just make it easy. Everybody come on over, take pictures, put it on Instagram. Hashtag chicken and waffles, delicious. Hashtag that kind of nerd. And everybody laughed and it was a good time. Brian could not have been more uncomfortable. It was a sight to behold. Because he goes, as CJ's talking to these ladies next to us, Brian looks at me and goes, Josh, don't make me talk to anybody about what I'm eating. And I said, I think CJ's got it. I think we're good. I think everything's fine.
It's a good time.
I don't interact with strangers. That's just not what I do.
Papa Thornton and Mama Thornton, you taught you stranger danger, and you never evolved from that.
You know what's funny is that's Brian. That's actually 90% of what I do.
I know.
Interact
if
with
it's in
strangers.
a business setting, I can talk to strangers all day, but I can't just be randomly starting conversations. Okay, you want to hear a story?
I consider everything a business.
You want to hear a story?
Yeah, when you were at Comic-Con, I'm sure you handed out a bunch of that kind of
exactly.
business cards,
Are you ready for this story? How socially awkward I am? I'm waiting in line at Comic-Con to get in on the first day, and there's like 3 people like talking behind me, and I'm actually by myself. My friend couldn't go with me the first day. And I was singing that in my head, and I'm sitting there and I'm in line, I'm catching Pokemon and shit, and like they're talking about Suicide Squad, and then they said something to the effect of, oh yeah, you know, Margot Robbie and Will Smith were in another movie beforehand, and I know the movie's focus.
Yeah.
And this is the perfect opportunity for me to make friends and be like, oh, hey, that movie's focus.
Right.
But me being socially awkward, I'm like, should I say it? I mean, they're struggling to figure it out, and I don't know. I mean, what if they don't like me? What if I say something?
You just say it. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt. That movie's focus. You all are idiots. I'm smart and you're not.
What if they say something and they tell me to fuck off? What if I say something and they just give me this look of derision? And by the time I'm like, okay, I'm going to say it. I'm like, it's focus. They were way past that, and they were like talking about the presidential election at that point. Some guy had already IMDb'd it, and I was like, looked like an idiot. So I was like, I'm just going to continue catching Pokemon. I'm just going to move forward. That's a
painful, like I'm sitting here thinking about you standing in line, going through all these motions in your head, and I'm sitting here cringing going, no, just say it. Yeah, say the word.
I imagine it all as an episode of Scrubs. That's all it is. He's tilting his head sideways. He's talking about it. And then when he thinks about, what if they hate me? And then they rip off his head or his arms. What if they don't like me? And then they light him on fire or they throw him out of Comic-Con.
Every time you talk, I hear dun, 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 dun.
I did all of that and have done all that. That is every social interaction I ever have ever. But this is why I live in a palatial estate with 2 cats.
Okay. God, it must be hard being you.
Yeah, it really is. This is the moment Laura goes, oh, Brian.
I will let you have your sad music, and if you have a moment to shed a tear for Brian, go ahead. Great. Now we owe Bill Lawrence like $90. Gotta shut down the podcast, man. Gotta shut it down.
For it. $90, I got it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a annual tradition that we need to go ahead and continue, right? In a strong tradition of That Kind of Nerd. It's a little late, and I'm sorry. And I hope it will quell the fire of one Paul Castillo, friend of the show. Here is Paul's That Kind of Nerd drunk voicemail.
All right, guys, it's Paul. On my birthday, time for the 2nd annual Paul Calls for That Kind of Nerd podcast. I just want to ask you some questions from what I hear the buzz around the internet, especially around the Ghostbusters. So, from what I understand, Josh Burns is really excited about seeing this movie. I, on the other hand, beg to differ because a big part of my childhood. Feel like it's a little bit of a disservice with the cast and things like that. But my main question is, how do you guys feel about like the buzz around the internet about this movie and people saying that internet ratings and scoring or even critics ratings on this movie are heavily skewed? And how that affects moviegoers' experiences or even looking up these movies as a whole, and how it's changed over the years versus like watching Siskel and Ebert, and then you just go online and look up a Metascore or even like Rotten Tomatoes. Because, the movie like this is actually rated 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, certified fresh. However, you look at the user comments and it's a pretty different story. So, with that being said, I love you guys. Best of luck. And as always, this is Paul signing out. I look forward to calling back next year or sooner. Love you. Bye.
Thank you, Paul, for the annual drunk birthday message. I appreciate it. Again, I'm sorry we're a little late. Now, the topic was around Ghostbusters, but he did open up generalities. And it's kind of something that we talked about a little earlier. But what do we think about online reviews as a whole, as a moviegoer now? Coming into big movies. I mean, when it came to Ghostbusters, it didn't sway me. I liked Ghostbusters. I thought the female cast was great, and I liked it, which I didn't initially think I would. But what do you guys think about the whole system right now as it is?
I think it's been proven a couple times now. And I'm pretty sure Ghostbusters, even though I think with certain huge movies like Ghostbusters, like Batman v Superman, there is a built-in audience that is going to see it no matter what. They don't care what the critics say. They don't even bother reading what they say. And you see the majority of that money the first 2 days on opening. But then you see this extreme drop-off. And those are all the people who paid attention to the reviews and care about the reviews and care if it got a 68 or 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, whatever it's at right now. I did not go see Ghostbusters just because I was not overly enthused with what I saw in the trailer to make me plunk down $10 to $15 to go see it. But I think how do I word this? I think people still pay attention to that kind of stuff and still put a lot of stock into it. So yeah, that's my opinion.
Have you ever not seen a movie because of the Rotten Tomatoes score?
No.
You've never done
for
that?
sure. Yes, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, me personally, I judge things by the trailer. I don't give a shit what reviewers say.
So if the trailer looked bad, but the reviews come in positive?
I thought the Rotten Tomatoes was a viewer score.
It is both. So before you get into, opening weekend, you'll have a Rotten Tomatoes score. It'll say critic score and it'll say audience score. And the critic score is obviously what you get before opening weekend. And it's just an average of here's what all the reviewers say. We can add them up and divide by however many, because that's how order of operations works, CJ. And you get your average. And a lot of people do put a lot of stock in that. I've never done it because, again, I judge things by the trailer. If I watch the trailer, I think it looks interesting, I'll go see it.
So there's quite a few movies that I've looked at they call it the tomato meter. I've looked at the tomato meter, and I've decided not to purchase on iTunes. There is no movie that I haven't watched simply because one score or the other was low. I have absolutely avoided purchasing them, which I guess meant for that day I didn't watch it. But for the most part, it's really just about where's the value, right? So if I'm looking at a movie that is above an 80 that looks amazing based on the reviews and it's $10, I'm going, yeah, I'm gonna buy that. And if I'm looking at the Fantastic Four and it's $12 and it has like a Rotten Tomato score of like a 9, that's specifically that movie I did not purchase on iTunes because
you made
of the
right
score.
call.
Yeah,
No, I get it, but what I'm saying is I have used
to determine a purchase.
Yeah, when it comes to money, I think that you need to.
See, I've had the situation where, my wife and I were thinking about, all right, are we going to see movie A or are we going to see movie B? And then we look at the Rotten Tomato scores and be like, oh, well, there's a big, gap between these two. Let's go see, movie B.
I'm exactly the same way, but on Yelp.
Right. Okay.
So I pull up 2 restaurants. There's 2 restaurants that fit what I want to do that night. They're both within a mile and a half. They both have, ratings within the margin of great, 4.5. One of them has 10 stars or 10 reviews, and one of them has 700. Which one do I go to? It's really
do
easy.
both of them have a Pokestop?
No, I
you
don't
can see
filter.
that in
I don't
Yelp now.
filter. But that's kind of the thing. The other thing is if I go to Yelp and I'm just trying to go for breakfast, and there's one diner that's 4.5 stars with 50 reviews and one that's 2.5 with the same number, I go, well, let's not go to the shitty one.
Right. But there's also been times where we look at the Rotten Tomato score and be like, I don't care that this one has a shitty Rotten Tomato score. Let's go see this movie anyway because I think it's been better.
No, I know. I was giving you examples of both the viewer score and the critic score, right? So when you have a lot of people saying, here's the example. Rotten Tomatoes has Suicide Squad scored a 26 for critics and a 73 for viewers.
Right.
And one can assume there are far more viewers than critics, so I'm probably going to lend some credence to that rating. I know it's ridiculous. I know it's ridiculous how I think about these things. But
that's how, and that's good.
Okay.
I think that's a good thing to have.
When it comes to numbers, that when you supply me with data to evaluate a situation, I just overdo it. So that's the way I think about movies. And if I'm choosing to do one thing or another, or any situation I'm in, to answer Paul's incredibly simply put question that makes my brain turn, makes the gears go, that's how I look at it. And the other thing is, Paul mentioned, doing service to the cast of Ghostbusters, this and that. Paul is actually kind of the Bill Murray of guys that I know, right? So here's a guy.
Do you have to leave him a voicemail in order to get to him? He doesn't
I probably should, but Paul is.
Am I Egon?
No. I'm not putting us in Ghostbusters.
But now I want to.
I'm saying I can put him in any Bill Murray sort of character. He is the Bill Murray of my life, and here's why. He's an incredibly humble guy. He's super nice. Everybody loves him, right? Dude's intelligent, can talk about many topics. But if you're not paying attention, you're going to miss all the great stuff, because Paul does all these little great things that you will miss if you don't pay attention. And he does it all super dry and quickly. And if you turn your head, you're going to miss it. He's the Bill Murray of my life. So there you go, Paul. Whether or not you like Ghostbusters, you are my Bill Murray.
Aww. That's the nicest thing you've ever said about anybody, really. Besides your wife and kids.
Hey, could be.
Okay. Well, you know what? We're going to end it there. There's nowhere else to go.
End it on a high note. Let's not end it on Brian's depressing story about social anxiety.
Yeah, no, and now we're back down again.
Hearing Brian's parents talk about it, though, like when you posed the question, CJ, CJ says, well, so was Brian always? And they both were like, oh, always. He was always just wouldn't even ask for a refill of a soda. Had to talk his brother into going and getting him a refill. And I'm sitting there like eyes just wide, just going, why couldn't you ask for your own Sprite? Why?
I don't know. I do know, but it will end the podcast on a very sad note.
Did you worry that the person giving you the Sprite wouldn't like you? You're there pouring me a Sprite. Give me my soda, and don't worry about whether you like me or not. You know what I need? I need 5 packets of ketchup. That's all I need. Don't throw one at me.
I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. It's something I still battle to this day.
You are a goddamn cartoon character. You're a cartoon character.
I am. I can ask for a refill now. I've grown.
You should be on Seinfeld. I mean, you realize that's how this situation is. It's some Larry David shit.
I know.
Okay.
My life is a sitcom, only I don't get the girl at the end.
Oh, no, we're back to depressing. Paul, you're the Bill Murray of our lives. No, now Laura's just, oh, Brian.
That's actually how it goes.
Next time I see Laura, she's just going to give me a huge hug. Just be like, I'm never letting go. You're special.
If anybody sees Brian on the street, I want you to give him a hug.
No, because that's weird.
Nope. That's what's happening.
Strangers giving hugs.
When she gives you that big hug, just do this. Just whisper in her ear.
You smell different when you're awake.
And then that should end the hug completely. And prevent any future hugs.
Oh, Brian, what are we going to do with you? Well, here's what you can do. You can help support the show. So there's a couple ways you can do that. You can obviously...
Yes, because the show forces me to be social.
It does. So listen, here's what we can do. If we can get some more listeners to it, we can help the show grow. We can give Brian some self-confidence. So give us a hand in building this man up to the wonderful man that we know he can be.
I feel a part of a Make-A-Wish Foundation now.
Well, then if that's the case, please
we could get John Cena on the show. He's done more Make-A-Wish than anybody.
So here's what we do. Go ahead and help Brian build the man up. Give us a 5-star rating on iTunes or Google Play and share the podcast amongst your friends. You can also leave us a message. All you can do is call 484-373-4119. You have about 90 seconds to leave us a message and then you get booted off, so be concise for it. You can also email us at podcast@thatkindofnerd.com. Follow us on Twitter @thatkindofnerd and just search for us on Facebook or wherever you find us.
There's a lot of you downloading the episode every week. Go to the Play Store, go to iTunes, give us a rating and a review. We read the reviews on the air. We read all the 5-star reviews, and so far we haven't received a terrible one. But we want to hear your feedback one way or the other.
Yeah, because I need to learn to deal with rejection too.
Yeah, give us a rating and review on iTunes or on the Google Play Store, wherever you listen. Give us a rating and review.
Well, thank you so much for making us, again, like I said, your walk around your neighborhood or your drive to work. Please go ahead and support the show. Go to thatkindofnerd.com/loot. That's LOOT, and get money off your very own loot crate. That's, again, thatkindofnerd.com/loot. And we will see you guys next week. Thanks for listening.
I love how you find a different adjective every time. That does not describe at all how I put this list together.
Wonderful, masterful, efficiently,
Evolution.
Vis-a-vis, concordantly.
Stupendously.
vis-a-vis, concordingly, The Matrix.
Drunkenly. So yeah, I think we can all live without Sausage Party.
As a movie.
We can just say in all life, no Sausage Party.
My life is a sitcom, only I don't get the girl at the end.